So as a tech reviewer, I actually ran into a problem. My USB ports stopped working. As in, I just couldn't get a signal from mice or some other products. I knew they worked though, so the issue had to be something else. I unplugged some USB devices and everything worked just fine. The problem seems to have been that I was using too much power through the motherboard. I had way too many devices plugged in. Sometimes I have 5 mice plugged in, 2 keyboards, not to mention the mouse cam, stream deck, audio interface, RGB lighting, even just charging my phone or something. And so when I last checked out some USB hubs, I was just thinking about getting more ports. Now I realize I need powered USB hubs. The less power you're using from the motherboard, the better. Keep in mind this was a 1000 watt power supply with a 4080, but even when not under load, it still wasn't powering everything properly. I actually thought the motherboard was faulty, but then when others did it too, it seemed it was just my current setup. Too many USB devices. Now for the USB hub, I wanted something with RGB and something I could theme easily. Yeah, I know, sounds very gamery, but it does make the videos look cool. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't care about RGB. I reached out to Razer, but they didn't have any of the Thunderbolt 4 docks. So I bought one. You'll be seeing that in the background in the reviews a lot now. It's clearly designed for laptops though, as the computer port is at the front. I didn't want the cable in the way though, so I bought a Type-C adapter, so I could have the cable running to the side instead. The rest is at the back, which is good, keeps the cables out of the way. And yeah, it has its own power, so no issues with the USB ports since using it. It's great. 3 standard USB at the back along with 3 Type-C, charging port etc. Card reader at the front, not that I recommend taking your cards out of the cameras. Every time I hear people doing that, they all have stories of their cards failing. I'd recommend just transferring via USB, which you can also do with the USB hub. One thing that's missing though, is display support, as in there's no port for running another monitor off this one. However, even on one of my newer PCs, the 7800X3D, I can't actually make use of that anyway, because it doesn't have display over USB. So big tip, make sure you have that functionality on your motherboard if you want to do this. If you get this error, that probably means you can't use display over USB. Unless I'm just missing a setting, I can't find the answer. I built a new computer recently though, and the new one does have it. Razer sent me their new USB 4 dock, so I didn't pay for this one, just paid for the other one. And this new one supports HDMI and DisplayPort. But why is that important even if you're not using a laptop? Because as I said in a previous video, if you're using multiple monitors, and they use different refresh rates, if you have them both plugged into your graphics card, they can cause micro stutters and jolts. That's why I suggest you get a system that has onboard graphics capability, so you can run your main gaming monitor on your graphics card, and your second and third monitors into the motherboard. Or if you have a USB hub, and motherboard capable of display through USB, you can also plug your monitors into the USB hub. That's where the new hub from Razer comes in handy, and you can run 2 monitors on it, 4K 120Hz. I got it working on my new PC, but also realized I had to use the cable that it came with. These other cables, which are meant to be really good, didn't actually work. So yeah, with this cable being only about 1 meter long, that's a problem for desktop use. So Razer, please include a 2 to 3 meter cable, so it fits in with our setups for main PCs too. For laptops it's probably fine, but I do seem to always need longer cables. Anyway, I never considered a USB hub a necessity before I got into gaming tech reviews, but now I think they're actually worth the money, as long as they get their own power and don't just leech off the motherboard. And these Razer hubs seem like a pretty good choice, with the new one being the best, and somehow cheaper than the Thunderbolt 4. You get the extra ports, and better positioning for the cables, just no RGB, and you lose a Type-C port for some reason. Which placement you prefer, I guess that's up to you. I like having a few ports at the front for when I need a temporary data cable, like when transferring files from a camera. Otherwise, I prefer all the cables off my desk at the back. And also, if you're building a new PC, it might be worth getting one with onboard graphics, just future-proofing, so if you do get more monitors, you can connect them without getting stutters in game. Now I haven't tried too many, so I don't know if these prices are good or not. Apparently the new one is pretty well priced. That's the USB 4 dock, Mercury Edition, you can get a black one too, and it's for Windows and Mac. I'm actually pretty happy with the Thunderbolt 4 as well, but I really wish it had an HDMI port or something. I mean, for most people the new one's going to be better, I just needed the RGB for my setups. If it wasn't filming this stuff, it wouldn't matter. So yeah, thanks to Razer for sending it out, no bias of course. Just wanted to test them, see if it was right for me. Hope the video and my experience with this stuff has helped. I might try to look at others in the future too, see which one's best. Because yeah, I'm actually loving these things. The fact that I can connect all my USB devices now and not worry about issues, really good. Obviously you don't put anything important on the USB hub, it's just the extras that don't worry about latency. So always plug your mouse, keyboard and headset straight into the motherboard. And maybe a webcam if you're using a separate microphone, because you might get a delay there too. And that's about it. Usual affiliate links below if you want to help support what I do. I don't have one for Razer directly, although I probably should now that I think about it. But until then, sub, like and share, and I'll catch you in the next.